This is the plaintiff, Iris Harris. She says she was looking for an apartment, saw one she liked, so she gave the defendant, her realtor, $2,000 to hold it. Next day, she told him she was unable to raise the additional $1,000 for all the deposits, which were required, and now the snake won't return her money because she signed the lease. She's never signed any stinking lease and is suing for the return of her $2,000. This is the defendant, Luis Garcia. He says the plaintiff went through the renting process with his agency, was approved by the landlord, and then backed out. The money she gave him was used for re-advertising the apartment, plus his fee for finding it. Sorry, the deposits are simply non-refundable. He's accused of bad brokering.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says a realtor took $2,000 for her for an apartment. She changed her mind. Now the realtor won't give the deposit back. But the realtor says she ain't getting anything back. It is the case of Get Realtor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Iris Harris?
Yes.
You are suing Luis Garcia and King County Realty Corporation. Luis Garcia, you're the owner?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, for $2,000, a return of a security deposit that you put down that you believe is owed back to you. Tell me what happened.
Okay, I went into the King's Realty Company, and I was put in for, they give you a sign the paper for an apartment. So I never heard anything from them. So I finally got a phone call, and I got a voicemail saying that they had an apartment. Was I interested? And I was still looking. I said yes. So I called them, and I made the arrangements to come check the apartment. So I went and checked the apartment, and I liked it. And he asked me right then and there.
What day was this?
This is, I don't know exact dates.
More or less.
This is in April.
Mid-April.
Yes.
Okay.
And so he said, well, and I told him, I said, well, I have to check with my fiance, make sure, this is what we want.
Who's the fiance? Is he here?
Yes,
Him?
Richard.
Okay.
And so
you got a ring on it? You got a ring on that finger?
Well, I don't have my ring yet.
Okay. And he's your boyfriend.
Okay, my boyfriend. But he did ask me to marry him. So.
Okay.
And so I took pictures and I sent it to his phone. And Mr. Garcia, he said, "Are you sure you can do this?" I said, "Yes, we can do this." I asked him different things about,
Did you sign a lease?
Well, I signed the lease. Yes, ma'am, I did sign the lease. But the lease wasn't supposed to take effect until May 1st.
Well, yeah, but it's binding when you sign it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're good.
And so and I told him, well, I called him the next day and I said, we was going to get the apartment. What did I need to do? And he said, come down to the office, fill out some paperwork. During that time, I didn't sign the lease. It was no lease signing. It was just the paperwork for saying about the broker's fee, what it can be up to.
Let me see that paperwork.
I didn't get a copy of that.
Do you have that paperwork?
I don't know which form she's talking about.
Broker's fees.
No.
Did you ever sign something that said anything about broker's fees?
Yeah.
May I see that?
I don't have it because it wasn't in question.
Well, but you're trying to keep the part of the money because of a broker's fee.
Right.
Is your broker's fee something that was going to be paid by the landlord or by the plaintiff?
By the plaintiff.
Well, how do you figure it's not going to be in question when we're in trial over the $2,000 that she says, I want it back, and you're saying, no, part of that's my broker's fee? What is in question if not that? I need you to contact your office and have that faxed over. I'm going to end up having to take a recess. Go ahead.
And so, like I said, there was the papers about the broker's fee and what it can be, about.
So, okay, so you sign up for the apartment.
Yes.
Because you do sign a lease, and the lease is signed on what day?
April 23rd or 24th.
Let me see your copy of the lease.
And so I wasn't looking forward to paying anything that day. But he asked me, for the $3,000, which was the security deposit, as well as the broker's fee. And I told him, I said, well, I didn't have $3,000 on me. I had $2,000. I said, well, let me call because my fiance was coming, to meet us up there for, to meet.
Okay, hold on one second. As it turns out, you were never able to get that other $1,000.
Yes.
Right.
Because like I said, my husband, my fiance, he's supposed to,
Now he's your husband.
He's supposed to, Western Union money because he had to go out of town. He had to take care of some business out of town. So he Western Union money. He gave me the MTNC number, all that logistics. I don't know what happened between Western Union and him with that money. All I know, I never received it. So he's going through some logistics with the Western Union concerning that $1,000. So I called Mr. Garcia and I said, listen, I was in tears because I really wanted this place.
I know.
And I said, I'm sorry. I mean,
When do you tell him I can't afford this apartment? And I
this
can't come
was
up with
that
the money?
same Friday in the week that, we, before.
What
I
day did you call
resigned.
him, sweetheart?
I don't know exact dates. This
Okay,
between
what day
the-
did she call you and tell you I can't take the apartment?
The day before, May
So
1st.
April 30th? April 30th? Is that accurate?
No, sir. No, ma'am.
That's right.
It was not the day before.
Well, what day did you call?
It was the week before, May 1st.
Okay, and then you said, "Can I have my 2,000 back?"
Yeah, I asked him.
How do you figure like that you get the 2,000 back?
Because it on that paper, it said about the deposit.
What
I
paper?
can get my deposit back.
Oh, let me see that paper.
He has it.
Does it say that the deposit's refundable?
I have blank ones. It does not say.
I don't want the
deposit.
blank one. I want the one in this case. Court is in recess. Go get it.
All rise. So, if it doesn't say anything about whether it's refundable or not, does the plaintiff get her money back?
I think she should. I think she should.
Why?
Because she didn't actually get the apartment. She didn't sign the lease. And maybe she should have to pay like a small fee for the time that the realtor spent.
Okay, you're kind of backing off that a little bit. What do you think?
I think yes, because she didn't sign it.
She didn't sign the lease, but she did commit to getting the apartment. You get the last word.
Yeah, I think she should because it's not fair because she didn't sign the lease.
She didn't sign the lease. That's a big deal for everybody here going inside the courtroom.
So what ended up happening? You weren't able to get the document with her signature on it?
No,
Why not?
because I looked for it yesterday and I couldn't find it.
Why didn't you say that before I took a recess? Why didn't you tell me, Judge, we've lost it, instead of making me take a recess to give you a chance to bring something and looking at me and saying, well, that's not an issue. Why would you do that? I just took a recess. I took my valuable time out to give you a chance to bring something I thought you made the judgment error not to bring. Now it turns out that it was never, I didn't have to waste this time anyway because you couldn't find it yesterday. Why couldn't you find it? Somebody lost it?
Yeah,
Wow. All right, now this is the document that you say you signed, that you say said refundable, printed or written?
No, it says that only thing on there says that's non-refundable is the $50 for the credit application.
And
Credit
that the
report.
rest is refundable under what circumstances?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It didn't say whether or not it was non-refundable or that they can keep it, the deposit.
All right, you received $2,000 from her, and what happened?
Mr. Pearson had called me about a week later and said, listen, I'm going to wire you the money. Yes. He says, I'm going to try to get you the whole $2,500. I said, well, we need $1,000 right now to give to the landlord, make him happy. Because I gave him $800. I have a receipt here where I gave the landlord the $800 when he came to sign his end of the lease.
And then what happened to the other $1,200 of her money?
The other $1,200 I kept as part of the broker's fee going forward. So then I'm waiting for the other deposit, the rest of the deposit, so that it would be a total of $3,000, 15 to the broker, 15 security. Then when she's ready to move in, I'll give her the key and she could send the other $1,500 directly to the landlord or pay me. I give the landlord however she wanted to work it out.
The monthly rent is $1,500.
Yes.
The security is $1,500.
Yes.
And then the broker's fee is how much?
$1,500.
So she was supposed to come up with $4,500?
Yes.
And you understood this to be $1,500 for the broker's fee, $1,500 for the security deposit, and $1,500 for the rent.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So go on.
So when she told me she wasn't taking the apartment so late in the game, I called up the landlord and said, listen, Ms. Harris isn't taking the apartment. He goes, well, I can't give her the money back. She tied up the apartment for almost a half a month. I told Ms. Harris that I would have to try to re-rent the apartment to try to give her the fee back. So after 2 weeks, the landlord had rented it. He's calling up other agents. Somebody else rented it. I was like, I have 600.
Did you re-rent it?
No,
When did it get re-rented?
like the 14th of May or something like that.
Did anybody from your realty company re-rent it?
Yes,
So then your realty company got the fee
yes.
for the month of May.
The broker's fee.
Yeah. The $1,500 was paid twice then to you guys. You got it once from her,
Well,
and once from the next person.
I gave them a discounted rate because it was so late in the game. The landlord just wanted me to rent it. It was either that or maybe get another
Can you
agent
give me
to take
proof
that.
of what it is that you're out?
Actually,
Let me explain to you the problems that I'm having. I'm having several problems. First of all, you can't possibly think that you put down a deposit, you change your mind, and then everybody needs to, wipe up your mess. That's one. The problem I'm having with you is that you can't possibly think that the law requires you to get this kind of stuff in writing. You're supposed to get it in writing. You got it in writing, and then I can't see it because you guys lose it, and that there's no consequence to that. Lucky for you, she admits that it's 1,500 times 3. That's great. Except for that court is not about giving you a bonanza. Court is about making you whole. Court is about making sure that after somebody breaches, and you're saying she breached, that you are in the same position you would have been in if she didn't breach, not in a better position. So you're telling me that you're firm. First you say no, then I have to ask a follow-up question, because for you it's like pulling teeth. I don't trust you. Okay, so now I ask you the follow-up question. Thank God I had the wherewithal to ask the follow-up question. Did your firm make that? Yes. Did you re-rent it? No. Did your firm re-rent it? Yes. Okay. So I got to be real careful with you. So now that your firm re-rented it, that means your firm made the broker's fee twice in May. Now, your answer to that is, yeah, but it was reduced. Prove to me what broker's fee you got from the next transaction. Wait, I'm going to tell you what the answer is, Douglas. Watch this. I don't have that. That's not an issue.
Well, I wasn't going to add that it's not an issue.
Okay, but you were going to say I don't have that.
We did rent the apartment. We did collect the fee.
Okay, how much did you collect?
Even if it was the $1,500,
How much did you collect?
I collected $1,200.
How much did you collect?
$1,200.
From the next person?
Yes.
And then you collected $1,200 from her?
Correct.
Okay, so you collected $2,400 instead of $1,500?
Correct.
Okay, how's that fair that you collect
Well,
$1,200
at the
instead
time
of
of the
$1,500?
conversation with Ms. Harris, I had not rented that apartment yet.
Well, at some point you tell her, you'll have to wait until I re-rent it. We have to see if I re-rent it.
I was like, you tied the apartment up for almost 3 weeks. It was like 2 weeks. You have a signed lease. I did my job. If you wouldn't have got the apartment, you'd be mad at me because I didn't get you the apartment. I got you the apartment, and now you're mad at me because I got you the apartment.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do. Put your hand down. I think that you need to be more careful with your money.
You're right.
Yeah, and I think that however uncomfortable he makes me feel, if he did re-rent it twice, why wouldn't his entity, cagey and not upfront as I think he is on the answer to that, because I had to pull it like a dentist pulling teeth out of him, whether or not his firm got it. Oh yeah, firm did get it. All right, as unpleasant as that is, and as much as I just like to be queen and do whatever I feel like it when I feel like it, I'm bound by the law on this. Why wouldn't the entity, why wouldn't his realty firm be entitled, if you rent it twice, to be paid twice for renting it? So why should you get any money back when we're all in this mess to begin with? Because you put down money that you can't prove was refundable. It never is in this situation. Nobody's ever going to give you money back in a situation like this. Why would you get your money back? I feel bad for you, but my verdict in this case is for the defendant.
And so with that, the plaintiff comes out with the loss, and you have tears in your eyes. Why is that?
Because it's not right.
Why?
I can understand. I owe him something, but my whole $2,000.
Yeah. Well, why is changing your mind someone else's problem at that point?
But he re-rented. He said in order for me to get my money back, like he gave it to me, he had to re-rent it. So how is it not his verbal agreement about binding and mine is? It's not right.
All right. Move around the corner there and take care of your documents. All right. Come on out here. Let's see. What are you thinking as you come out here?
Alliance MC. Well, I have my documents in order, and I rented the apartment. She signed the lease, held the apartment up for 2 weeks.
Wait a minute. I heard the judge call you cagey. She may have even said sneaky. You made the judge very uncomfortable.
Maybe she has a problem with brokers.
Or maybe just cagey, sneaky people.
I don't think so.
You made her a recess. You said you had documents. You didn't have them. Stuff like that.
What are you going to do?
Harvey?
There's a principle in the law that the law abhors forfeitures. It doesn't like it. So if it doesn't say non-refundable, you are entitled to get your deposit back unless the person who you made the deal with suffers some kind of damage, and then they can use that against your deposit. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.